We've had some of our old friends stop by and visit this week. This is Roddy the Goose. He can be recognized by the white eyebrows. Him and his mate unsuccessfully tried to nest earlier this summer, but we haven't seen him in at least a month. Unfortunately, his mate was not with him, which is not a good sign. And Dougie the barn cat made an appearance. We feed him every morning, but he rarely sticks around to let us see him, let alone get a picture of him. We're getting slightly more colors in the leaves, and we've spent several mornings this week reposting our borders. With deer hunting season coming up, we want to make sure that all the hunters know that our property is patrolled.
Yep, magnolia. Oh, wow,
The entire region seems to be low on warbler sightings, but we do still get a few in, such as this black-throated green. Although it is hard to see any black on the throat of this one, probably because it's either a female or an immature. We also get a fair amount of Nashville warblers passing through here. They are coming from their breeding grounds in the north and heading toward Mexico. There is also a population west of the Rocky Mountains that was once considered a separate species. Nashville warblers prefer to breed in boreal habitats, especially spruce and fir and cedar bogs. There's not a lot of information on their breeding habits, but it is thought that the female exclusively builds the nest. The nest is cup-shaped and usually on the ground or in short shrubs. Despite the name, Nashville warblers do not spend a lot of time in Nashville, just through the spring and fall migrations. They were dubbed this by the famous ornithologist Alexander Wilson because he encountered his first Nashville warbler in Nashville, Tennessee, circa 1811. We've also had a few northern parulas passing through here this week. We've also had some chestnut-sided warblers. Rose-breasted grosbeaks are also passing through here on a regular basis. And a blue-headed vireo, the only one we've seen since the spring. Here's a pair of indigo buntings feeding on cranberry viburnum. These two birds are not donned with the striking indigo plumage as their name would suggest. That is reserved only for the breeding males. It's been interesting seeing the intricate structures of the spider webs on these dewy mornings we've been having. And this orb weaver was on the same leaf for the third day in a row before she left without a trace. Many species of true bugs use their piercing mouthparts to suck out the juices of each individual cell in a plant. It is clearly evident that a bug has been feeding on this oak leaf. In some of our willows, we've noticed these pine cone galls made from a midge fly. I'm not sure what species this minute larva belongs to, but I know this larva belongs to the American dagger moth. And we're still seeing viceroy butterflies on a daily basis. But the highlight of the week, especially as far as invertebrates go, has been digging our new transfer garden. Basically, we're digging a 7 by 12 foot plot, exposing all the subterranean life within or beneath the roots. There have been a lot of these velvet mites, and a few of these bees under the ground. I can't be certain, but my speculation is that they are digging tunnels and burrows to lay their eggs. Many species of bees are known to lay their eggs underground, which will develop and pupate and emerge the next spring as adults. We are digging this garden to increase biodiversity, which will in the long run. However, as seen with the previous insects, we do disturb some, unfortunately. Some insects, such as this red-legged locust, however, do take advantage of the disturbance. This one rushed right over to take advantage of the loose, bare soil. My initial thoughts is that it was a female depositing eggs. However, after digging in a couple spots where I thought she deposited them, there was nothing there. So my second thought was that it was a male depositing his pheromones. Many insects and animals are known to do this to mark their territory and to advertise their readiness to mate. Upon further research, I found that this is most certainly a female. A male's wings would extend much further beyond the abdomen, whereas hers do not even reach the tip of the abdomen. Females deposit pods of eggs containing about 20 of them, and they are about 3/4 to an inch long and 1/8 of an inch thick. If she deposited any egg pods, it should have been fairly obvious. So my conclusion is that she is depositing pheromones to mark her territory and to advertise her readiness to mate. There must have been a massive ant colony in this plot because I was digging them up throughout the entire process. I even dug into their egg nurseries a couple of times. Although I would prefer not to disturb their colony, it was fascinating watching them scurry about to relocate their eggs into a safe place. Ants are beneficial to a garden because they control pests, aerate the soil, and bring compost into their colonies. We did compensate the ants for the disturbance at the expense of grubs. Although most ants are vegetarians as adults, the larvae are carnivorous. Piece by piece, this grub will be taken to the ant nursery. Perhaps this is the same grasshopper we witnessed depositing her pheromones the previous day. It is not a happy ending for her, but our digging had nothing to do with this. The fields are filled with blooms right now, like these gorgeous rough-leafed sunflowers. And the winged-stemmed sunflowers are putting out seeds now. And the sanctuary is filled with asters, such as the crooked stem aster, the purple-stemmed asters, and smooth-stemmed asters. And the pearly everlastings are in peak bloom. In the woodlands, wild lettuce is putting forth seeds, and new mushrooms are still sprouting. Perhaps my favorite mushroom this week is the dryad saddle. It is found on 5 continents and has a scent that many compare with that of a watermelon rind. There are more destroying angels emerging, and this is a Hymenopella furfuracea. I could find no common name associated with it. It apparently has a dark, long, root-like structure that extends deep into the ground. Maybe at some point I'll dig it up to see it for myself. These large bracket fungi are Latoporus sulphureus, commonly known as chicken of the woods. These edible mushrooms are said to have a texture analogous to that of chicken, and if seasoned correctly, can taste remarkably similar. And that wraps up another great week at the sanctuary.